Welcome to Grow Overload. I'm Anthony, and let's talk gaming. With E3 just ending, I've been really excited about some of the games coming out. Granted, I got a huge backlog of games, and I haven't had a chance to get caught up on that yet. But there is going to be a lot of games coming out that I'm interested in, and I'm even thinking with after these next consoles, it's going to be even games that I want to play even more. Granted, I hopefully get through my backlog by that time, but I'm kind of thinking of what is possible with the games in this video. More, not so much of, hey, this is where we are and this is kind of the short term, but after the next generation consoles, what is possible? Because both Sony and Microsoft have really been talking up the faster SSDs. Granted, hardware is going to be on parity with some PCs now. We're going to have a Navi GPU, we're going to have Zen cores, right? A more powerful processor, more options here to be able to do more different types of compute. And if their rumors are going around, 8 cores, 16 threads, that's going to be quite a powerful system. So, what should we be expecting out of games? Should games really look like they look today? No, the graphics should be better. Ray tracing may be around. Sony's already kind of admitted to it. So has Microsoft in some ways has admitted to some of that new lighting effects as well, right? They have DXR in their DirectX 12 API. So there are certain things that we should expect, but what I really want to see is how games are really loaded in and how immersive they are. One of the things I hate is the loading screen. I don't like sitting there waiting for a game to load. I don't like loading in game. And I think that's where the next possibilities are. Talking up the new SSDs of both Sony and Microsoft have been doing with the next gen consoles. They're saying 40 times faster, just amazing speeds out of these systems. So what should that look like? Why are they talking up a SSD so much, a storage device? And I think they're talking it up is because they want software developers to take advantage of it. Granted, us software developers have to actually take advantage of it, but like we all have to do with all hardware. But what I think is going to be really cool is being able to get a bigger world loaded up or on the SSD, loaded in real time into the RAM that it when it's needed or right before it's needed, so you don't have to sit on a waiting screen any longer. I think this is going to take some time, but that's what I'm really excited about. I have a friend, he's a huge open world fan, and he loves playing those open worlds. But think if that world was even bigger, and you were able to, a size of a country, and be able to go through and just load up the open world as you go through it, rather than sitting there waiting for it each time you move on those artificial boundaries and being able to be more immersive in the whole time because you don't have to sit there and wait for the load screen. I feel like each load screen is an opportunity to move to basically stop your game and move, stop to do something else. And when I sit and I have some time to play games, I don't want to sit and look at load screens. I want to be immersed in the game and sit and play games for that period of time so that I can be basically rewarded with the time I had to put into the game. Why are we wasting our time on load screens? It really doesn't make sense, and I think that this next generation is going to be doing it. Now, Sony and Microsoft shouldn't be left off the hook for giving us hard drives last generation. There was an opportunity, both the Pro and the Xbox One X, that they had an opportunity to put SSDs in there, and they should have. So, what it's going to come down to, though, I think, is the desktop is kind of driving this, right? I have NVMe drives already in my desktop. Load times are down, they're not mitigated. That real time loading isn't quite there yet, but we have that opportunity now. And I think if software developers start taking a hold of it, and especially if the console makers are pushing it, that's where games are going to be headed. And I enjoy it a lot more with the SSDs. Loads faster, way more fun. I think that we can take advantage of it as we mature in this ecosystem. I do think that's going to leave off some low-end hardware though, and that is the worrying factor for me is that what if an SSD isn't fast enough, or what if you're on a hard drive? What's the fallback? Is there going to be one, or are we just going to say you need an SSD in order to play this game? That is what's worrisome to me because I could live out a lot of gamers. Now, Microsoft has said they want to bring more people in gaming. Sony, I bet you, is the same way. They haven't, they always want to grow their ecosystem. They haven't necessarily say we want everybody in it. But my guess is that Sony's looking at it the same way so that they can get more people in the ecosystem. If that's the case, you know, granted, yes, Sony would love to sell them a console, but Microsoft has desktops, so they want to keep everybody in. There may be a way that to detect if you have a hard drive, we're gonna hit loading screens just because, or have a higher lead time as you go through the game to read it. Maybe you still hit the loading screens, but not as severe. There's certain mitigations they're already working on to make that better. Heck, Microsoft may even do an API for DirectX 12 just in that case. Probably Sony would do the same thing. One other thing though is how is gaming shifting markets? I think that if you're a desktop gamer, you're probably going to still play on desktop. They had a survey saying that more people are going to switch to console. That could be. I like to go back and forth, to be honest. It just depends upon where I want to be immersed in. Do I want to play 4K on this system and have, keyboard and mouse, or do I want to play 4K on my desktop or on my Xbox and have a controller? Sometimes I do play on this. I think that Microsoft and Sony, if they can get more playing of direct casting, or casting over the internet, and you can play huge ability of just on your phone too with a controller, that's another option. So I think there's really excitement there that can be expanded out. Plus we have cloud gaming with Google Stadia that we can then just jump into and play our games wherever. I just don't want to be sitting there waiting the entire time for the next scene to load. So with that, that's where I kind of see gaming going. I see it as a or my thing I'm excited about in gaming is the next generation of, I don't have to wait for every scene to load in. I get to go play the game for the period I set for it, I get to set out for playing games, and I get to be immersed. I don't have to sit and wait. Let me know what your thoughts are on what you're excited about in gaming, where you see gaming going probably after the next generation consoles drop. Are you expecting it to basically continue on the same old, and we're not going to get the improvements that we deserve here as gamers? So with that, thank you for leaving a comment. Thank you for helping this channel grow, and I really appreciate your guys' effort in helping this channel grow. It's much appreciated. Until next time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.